Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Old School Movie Review. This is going to be a sequel or continuation of my my X-Men MCU casting choices. I gotta preface all this by saying, a lot of the people I chose for some of these other roles, they might be a little too old to play the part at this point. Um, a lot of them I haven't really seen in movies for a while, but I think others are better choices. I don't have any really great ones like Justin Roiland as Morph, which was perfect. But let me light this bad boy up and we'll get started on the list I wrote on my phone. One second. I got X-Men Apocalypse playing on my other screen. It's just on YouTube. Apparently, Fox or Disney doesn't give a shit anymore. They're just like, yeah, sure, put this big movie on there with whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that doesn't even give a shit. I think Dark Phoenix was on here too. I saw an option to pay for it, and then I saw the entire film somebody else uploaded. I haven't watched that movie yet. Maybe I'll watch it right after I finish making this video. I don't know. I feel like I need to see it just to see how bad it was. Um. Anyway, first up, Gambit. He, he was rumored to play the Gambit for a long time. Josh Holloway, who was Sawyer on Lost. Um, haven't seen him in too much other stuff, but I still think he'd be a perfect Gambit. Beast. This guy kind of got. He was in the Me Too movement, so I don't know if he's even making movies or anything anymore. But Kevin Spacey. Yeah, of course, Beast would be an all digital character. He'd be all blue and furry and shit with hardly any clothes on. Um, he'd look like this. Oh, I will destroy you with my mind and my brute strength. Anyway, yeah, I think Kevin Spacey would be pretty good for him. Oh, I forgot to show off my Gambit toy. This is also going to be me showing off toys of the characters I mentioned. This is my cool Gambit. I still had his cards. He'd light up. He's got a little switch in the back to make his cards light up. That's pretty cool, right? Anyway, next, Kitty Pryde. I think this is probably my best casting if she was just maybe 10 or 20 years younger. Because Kitty Pryde does kind of have to be a teenager if you're going to bring her in the movies. Kind of the same thing with Jubilee. Casted a pretty good chick for Jubilee, but who would play Kitty Pryde if, like in my original 7 casting, we decided to go with Kitty Pryde instead of Jubilee? Kerry Russell. Felicity. Been in a lot of other stuff. The Americans, and was in some kind of alien movie that was pretty good. But I think I'm just thinking Felicity is like one of my favorite shows. I don't know if I should be embarrassed to say that or not, but it was J.J. Abrams, man. It was a great fucking show. I mean, terrific. So yeah, Kerry Russell as Kitty Pryde. I think of Felicity and Kitty Pryde kind of have similar maybe viewpoints. I don't know. I don't have a Kitty Pryde toy, so let's move on to Iceman. Who's gonna play Iceman? This is a good toy. Check this out. Check out his action. Ice. 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 Ryan Phillippe as Iceman. He might be a little too old now. Sean Asmore was not bad casting. I liked him in the old X-Men movies, but anyway. And for Rogue, check her out. Yeah, she's anime style. Uh, Rogue would be played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was, I can't remember the character's name, but she was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. She was like the major love interest in that movie. So yeah, I think she'd be a great Rogue. And then you've got the connection of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World when Rogue takes Carol Danvers' powers. You know, Brie Larson played the lead singer of Classic Demon Head. So that'd be kind of cool to see them on the same screen again. And I don't know what kind of
movie you'd be having Rogue steal powers from, whatever movie you introduce Rogue in, she should start as a bad guy, I think. So maybe the very first one, X-Men Brotherhood. Okay, next, Wild Child. Wild Child, I don't even know, I can't remember if he even speaks, he maybe just growls and that kind of thing. This is kind of like if we're going to do Age of Apocalypse and we want to introduce the Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth, who what did I say, Christian Bale would play Sabretooth. He needs Wild Child there to be his little friend or whatever. So either Seth Rogen I think he would make some pretty good guttural sounds, or Seth Green. I'm just thinking of Seth Green's voice work on Family Guy. I think that might be a good sound for Wild Child. Anyway, next. No. Sunfire. This is Age of Apocalypse Sunfire, not the one introduced in Giant Size X-Men #1. You wouldn't be seeing his face, but you'd be hearing his voice, and I think this guy's Korean, but I'm not sure. Daniel Dae Kim. This guy, Sunfire, would be pretty much all digital. Yeah, there's no fucking way that they could do it not digital. So, yeah, I think Daniel Dae Kim would be a good voice actor for him. Mystique. Okay, we've already seen 2 Mystiques. Who was it? Stamos' wife, Rebecca Romaine Stamos. We've seen her, and then we've seen, the current Mystique. She was like made into a fucking central character in these movies, which was weird because Mystique should just be an adversary or a fucking villain, but she was made into like this poster girl for mutant rights and all these other activist things. But in my movie, she'd be played by Lacey Chabert. Yes, I think she's got the eyes, she's got the look, and she's a little bit older now, so and she's got a crazy great voice, and I think it would add a lot of color and shit to Mystique, but make her evil, Okay, Angel, this is where we start getting into the things where the guy is way too old to be playing Angel in these movies, but maybe, who knows what the MCU X-Men is going to look like. Are they all going to be no-name teenagers with like big name Professor X and Magneto, or like the previous films? Or are they going to, I don't know, get some bigger names for some of these more popular characters? Like Angel, I feel, should be played by Kiefer Sutherland. I'm just thinking back, of course, to the 90s cartoon X-Men where Angel was first introduced. He was like a tortured soul, and he just wanted to get rid of his wings. He wanted not to be a mutant anymore. They've already done this in The Last Stand with Flash Forward. I thought he was a pretty good Angel, honestly. He wasn't bad. But you don't really see him helping the X-Men out in fights or anything like that. But anyway, Kiefer Sutherland would make a pretty good Angel, I think. Polaris. Okay, we've already got a pretty decent Polaris in The Gifted. She was probably the best part of that show. I was most interested in their Polaris character, so I guess I didn't write this down, but bring her back. I doubt they'll do that, but not very good at speaking so quickly. Anyway, Claire Forlani. I'm not sure how old she is right now, but she's got an interesting look, and I think give her some green hair, and she'd make a pretty good Polaris. Okay, Havoc. We've got John Hamm playing Cyclops. You need his little brother Havoc in the movie. If we're going to do Fatal Attractions, whatever, I mean, all these mutants I'm naming are in that shit. And we can branch off and do X Factor movies with Havoc, or later on I'll talk about who should play Multiple Man if you want to do that era of X Factor. But anyway, Havoc could be played by Hayden Christensen. I haven't seen him in much since all the backlash about the prequels. I liked him as Anakin. I think it was a great Anakin, and Havoc is kind of tortured. Uh, then you've got Polaris and Havoc together. They're a couple. Then you got Iceman, who was played by Brian Phillippe. Like a love triangle. Who should play Havoc? Hayden Christensen. Yeah. Strong guy. If we're going X Factor, strong guy's got to be in there, right? This big old. He'll be CGI. He's got to maybe his head won't be CGI, but his fucking body sure as hell will be. Strong guy is a giant guy. He's this bigger juggernaut. I don't know. He's bigger than the juggernaut that was in Deadpool 2, man. So fucking strong guys. That's what his name is. Give him a cool voice. Danny DeVito, man. I feel like he'd be great. They said Danny DeVito was the original choice to play Pikachu and Detective Pikachu. Fuck Ryan Reynolds. I still haven't seen Detective Pikachu, but I think a Danny DeVito voice coming out of Pikachu would be fucking awesome. And he could be a great strong guy, too. Okay, Psylocke. We're not going with the Asian Psylocke, which they've already done in X-Men Apocalypse. Olivia Munn, you were just eye candy on those fucking Attack of the Shows. You should not be acting. Host fucking nerd shit, and people will love you for that. Anyway, Psylocke, we're going the original British version of Psylocke before she. My knowledge of how she transformed into the fucking Asian ninja Psylocke is. I'm not exactly sure how that all went down in the comics, but for the British version, we can get Kate Beckinsale. Okay, maybe she's a little too old to be playing the part now too. I don't know, but I think she is British. Maybe not. I'm not positive, but I think she'd be a great original Psylocke. You know. Okay, Cannonball. If we're gonna go X-Force and New Mutants, I mean New Mutants is already coming out. Who knows if that's gonna be considered canon in the MCU, or who knows if it's even gonna get released? Who knows? But Cannonball, I thought, who could play a young gun? Who could play a pretty cool guy? And I want to see this guy in more shit. I want to see him in more substantial shit. He's from the show Degrassi: The Next Generation. Jake Epstein. He played Craig. I think he'd be a pretty cool Cannonball, and I want to see him in more stuff, so fuck it, I put him down for Cannonball. Sunspot. It's unclear whether this guy is black or white. His whole body is a blackness. So I thought, I don't have enough black people in my cast, so get John Boyega. He's been doing great in the Star Wars movies, and Disney and Marvel have that relationship with him, so make him Sunspot. Sure, why the fuck not? He'd be probably all digital as well, but give him the voice of John Boyega. Boom Boom, if we're going more X-Force, or New Mutants, I think she was a New Mutant as well. Chloe Sevigny, she's probably a little too old to play the part again, and I hate it that my knowledge of young actors is so fucking failing, but I hardly watch any new shit. The only new shit I watch is like original movies or original series on Netflix and Hulu, and the Marvel movies. That's like the only movies I ever watch anymore. So my knowledge of young actors is failing. So I say Chloe Sevigny for Boom Boom. Why not? She's a great actress. Anyway, Banshee. Banshee could be in it, and I'm not familiar with a lot of Irish actors, but Dylan McDermott could be good. He's mixed, so that makes him Scottish, isn't that right? Just give him a nice Irish accent, and Dylan McDermott would be a great Banshee, man. Whoa, Banshee! Anyway, next, Multiple Man. If we're gonna make X Factor the movie and Multiple Man's the hero, or the main hero, I should say, I would like him to be played by Jason Lee. Look, I lost the chair. Oh. Okay. Yeah, Jason Lee for Multiple Man. He's played a smartass, and Multiple Man certainly is a smartass. Mr. Sinister. I feel like he should be introduced first before Apocalypse, and then it's kind of like Apocalypse's henchman in the Age of Apocalypse. So who could play a really cool Mr. Sinister? Doesn't matter how old he is, because Mr. Sinister has been around since, like, what, the 1700s or some shit, Nathaniel Essex? Make him Robert Englund. Yeah, Freddy Krueger. He's got the voice, he's got the look. Let's give him a nice crisp, or diamond on his forehead, and make, I don't know if you make him all digital, but maybe you do. And Robert Englund is the voice, so yeah. Okay, long shot. You need kind of like a wise ass, somebody who's always like looking at the camera and making jokes. His power is that he's super lucky. I say Michael Cera. You know, he's got that wit and dry kind of humor where I think he could be a really good long shot. Okay, who's gonna play Mojo? If we're gonna do a whole fucking Mojo movie, I mean they brought up the Mojo verse with Deadpool too. That's why it's such a good movie. Who could play Mojo? We've already got Michael Cera playing long shot, so fuck it, Jonah Hill. I'm not just basing it on the fact that he's a big fat guy. I mean, of course, Mojo would be an all digital character, but I could really hear his voice in my mind, like trying to be a interstellar space television mogul, which is what he was in the cartoon. I'm not too familiar with many Mojo stories in the comics, but in the cartoon, Jonah Hill, man, just give him that. He's got a great voice, a very animated voice, and he can pull off Mojo, I think. Okay, we've got Michael Cera and Jonah Hill as Mojo and Longshot. Who else is connected to these characters? Dazzler. Alison Blair, I do believe is her name. And this might be unconventional. I don't even know if this person wants to act, but I'm sure as hell certain that they have cosplayed as Dazzler. Their favorite character in X-Men is Dazzler. Get Danica, Comic Book Girl 19. Yes. If she has any acting chops, put her in this movie. I mean, why not? Couldn't think of anybody else. She could be great. Anyway, Omega Red. If we're gonna do an Omega Red storyline, I was just thinking he's probably gonna be all digital. His tentacles are sure as hell gonna be digital. Sting, maybe. Ooh, yeah, brand new day. Yeah, pretty good. I think Sting could be cool. He'd be an all digital character. So, okay, we got only two more. The Phalanx. If we're gonna do the Phalanx, and it's gonna have a central persona, and there's going to be one person that is kind of like representing all the consciousness of all the different phalanxes. I think it's going to be all digital. There's no fucking question about that. But I think a pretty cool voice actor for the phalanx, and you'd like soup it up with some kind of digital effect to make it sound mechanical or digital or something like that. Christopher Lambert. He was the Highlander. He was Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movies. He's got a great voice, and he's got a kind of a foreign accent, so that could really add like an alienness to the Phalanx's character. So yeah, Christopher Lambert. He'd be pretty cool as the Phalanx. Lastly, Genesis. If we're gonna do storylines with Apocalypse, Genesis. Genesis toy. I actually do have a Genesis toy. Check that out. Who could play this guy? He was like, I'm not too familiar with this guy, but I do remember he was strongly tied into some Apocalypse and Cable storylines. Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. He was Pennywise. He was in that one Netflix show about werewolves and vampires and shit. I think he'd be a cool Genesis, man. And if you're gonna do some kind of Apocalypse storylines, make Bill Skarsgård Genesis. Anyway, I'm pretty much exhausted. I couldn't think of good people to play Thunderbird of Warpath. I just don't know any Indian American actors or Indian actors. Or fucking Native American, I should say. What is this, 1990, when we still called them Indians? Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I really am enthusiastic. I really cannot wait to see what form and shape these X-Men movies take, and who plays who, and who's in them, and what storylines they choose and decide to bring on the big screen. We need as much love and care in the early X-Men movies as there was in Iron Man and Thor and Captain America the First Avenger, to where we can build up momentum and hype to where later on in the series of films you can make big Age of Apocalypse storylines, Onslaught storylines, and connect with the rest of the MCU. One thing I wasn't clear about was in Marvel Universe Onslaught, the movie, how they eventually beat Onslaught is Hulk just gets angrier than he's ever been. He's like, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, and I am very angry. Check it out, I even get an Onslaught toy. You got his original form there. Check it out, you put this little piece on here, and boom! That's how he looks in Marvel Universe Onslaught. And you got, just imagine this guy fighting the Hulk. Hulk just fucking loses his mind with anger and punches this guy dead, man. That's what I really want to see. Even though his arm's fucked up from Endgame, when he used the Infinity Gauntlet, yeah, I really want to see the scene where all the Marvel Universe is just sitting here watching the Hulk and Onslaught fight. I really just want to see that. And you can even bring in Joseph. Look, I got a Joseph toy. Check it out. Who did I say was going to play Magneto? I can't remember, but you just get like their younger equivalent, and you got Joseph in there. You can do all kinds of storylines. There's just so much. There's just so many storylines you can do, and if they're doing them right, like, I have total faith in Disney, and Kevin Feige. I mean, they made me care about the Avengers, Iron Man was the first one, and before that movie came out, I really didn't give a shit about Iron Man. But, you put Robert Downey Jr. in that role, and you've got an entire franchise started. An entire interweaving fucking franchise that is brilliant, and all they gotta do is figure out some kind of way to make mutants, like, it's really too bad that they couldn't have done that. They didn't have the rights early on, and all these things could have been interwoven together. And then you've got Thanos being fought by the Fantastic Four and X-Men as well, and shit like that. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much more. I'm just super excited for these movies, and I can't wait to find out if any of my castings hit the mark. I'm really excited to find out if they are going to do an Exiles TV show. It'd work better as a TV show. It's episodic. Each episode you'd be in a different what-if situation. That'd be awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching, and peace out.